Before I actually consciously started Food Freedom, I had already been kind of like in a quasi state for a while. So there is, because Food Freedom is also a form of eating disorder recovery, for those who do not know, people who suffer from disordered eating patterns, chronic dieting, restriction, and things like that. Food freedom is a way to recover from those type of disordered eating patterns. And so that is what I was experiencing for years since I was a teenager. And then I decided at 30 that I was just done dieting. I didn't want to diet, but I still had a lot of food rules. I still compensated by purging. I still tracked calories and things like that for many months, even when I decided to be done with dieting. So that's why I say I was still in a quasi state for many months. But when I went full on, eating disorder recovery or food freedom journey, when I went full on, I decided that I wasn't going to track, I wasn't going to count calories, I wasn't going to compensate with exercise. I was just going to eat freely and live my life. And I knew that since I had already gained like a decent amount of weight already back from my previous weight that I had dieted to, I knew that overshoot weight was also possible. But because I had accepted the overshoot weight ahead of time, I was not super worried about that in the beginning of my journey. I embraced my size, and I guess in my mind I had a mental set point, like that my weight would like plateau. And when I exceeded that weight and I got bigger than that, that is when my mind really challenged this whole eating disorder recovery, food freedom theory. Like, it was just not accepting that this is part of the process, and that overshoot weight is imminent, and this is how we're going to get to freedom. And I had so many doubts about this whole process, and I still, like I said, I'm still currently in it. As you can see, the point of it is I have put on quite a bit of weight, and it has started to cause me to have a lot of bad body image days. And a bad body image day is basically just where you look in the mirror and you're just very like unhappy with what you see. And it can be for whatever reason. It could be not even about your weight. It could just be about the way a particular outfit fits on you. Because I used to have bad body image days even when I was small, but for me, it has just become very uncomfortable to be the size that I am. I'm not able to do the things that I used to could do with relativity, trying to be able to keep up with my children, to get all the things done that I need to get done throughout the week. I find that I started having migraines when I never had migraines. I started having digestive issues, a lot of heartburn, and overall it was just a very uncomfortable feeling being, because for me, like, going back to like dieting is just not an option. I don't even think I physically can do it. Especially after experiencing what it's like to eat freely, I just don't think I had it in me to want to ever go back to what it felt like to be hungry all the time, constantly fixated on food. I can't tell you how freeing it is to not be fixated on food, but I will get to that at the end of the video, because I really want to get to this part, which is kind of like the negative side of eating disorder recovery. And that is just being able to accept you at whatever weight you are, despite how you feel, despite how taxing being over a certain weight can be for you. This is definitely uncharted territory for me. I've never been over a certain weight except during pregnancy, and to get past my weight that I was mentally comfortable with is very scary. But what did help me is all of the different people on YouTube who have went through this journey. I found an amazing channel I think her name is her YouTube handle is Follow My Intuition or Follow the Intuition, something like that. I will link her channel below because it was an amazing resource during my days where I'm having really bad mental thoughts, eating disorder thoughts. Okay, I'm sorry for any background noise. I had the window open, but yeah, so it's challenging, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm right in the middle of the most challenging part. But at the same time, I saw a quote that said, everything that you desire is on the other side of fear. And that quote really resonated with me, because I really feel like that is the truth in almost everything that we do. When we step out of our comfort zone, we tend to have a lot of doubts and fear because we never experienced certain things before. And this is the thing with the whole food freedom thing. It's like food freedom for many, many years in my mind was something that only skinny people with good genetics could do. And I just never thought that me, I thought I was predisposed to being overweight, and that no matter what I would do, my body would just not respond and I would have to struggle to lose weight. But that is not the truth. Our body was not designed to be overweight. But the main thing that keeps people overweight is dieting and eating disorder behavior, because it is designed to force the body and impose on the body a restrictive form of eating that causes the body to believe it's in a famine or that it's starving, and so your body goes into something called starvation mode. And starvation mode is real. Your body will slow down the metabolism to keep you at a certain weight because it is scared that you're going to go into a famine, a self-imposed famine, and then it makes it harder and harder for you to lose weight every time you go back to restricting, which is a cycle that many chronic dieters already have experienced, because they will have to increase the level of exercise that they're doing, or they will have to decrease the amount of calories that they are eating. And all of this is just to confuse the body or to be more intense and aggressive to get the body to get down to a specific weight. Overshoot weight is one of the most important things during recovery, because it is a sign that your body is healing and that it's getting all of the nutrients and all of the energy that it needs. Because where you diet it down to, when you self-impose, a restrictive eating form of eating to your body was not like in unity with you to do this. And we have to understand that our bodies were forced to do something that it didn't want to do. So imagine if somebody held a gun to your head and told you to do X, Y, Z. You're gonna do it, but are you like happy about it? Are you in unity with this person? The minute that this person takes the gun away from your head, you're gonna try to escape. And that's what our bodies essentially do. The minute that we lower the reins a little bit on our diet, our body just goes crazy, because our minds and our bodies have been starved and it's not in unity with your diet plan. So it's not consenting to your diet plan. So your body has to learn how to retrust you in the same way like I am learning to retrust my body, because for many years I thought my body could not lose weight on its own, and that I would have to do things to make it the way that I wanted it to look. And now I'm realizing that my body is perfectly normal. It is, designed to do this, and I love my body. Even if I don't always love how I look, I love my body for the way that it functions. It's given me 2 healthy, beautiful children, and I respect that my body has its own like regulatory mechanisms, that I don't have to impose anything on my body. I just live my life, and it is very, very freeing, and I'm beginning to build that trust back with my body. So I'm just gonna go over some of the pros of this whole journey. And the biggest pro for me is just being able to eat when I'm hungry and stop when I'm full. And I know that sounds so basic, but it's true, because I used to be the type of person that if I had like some sort of family event or event like later on in the day, I would starve myself. I would eat like a small breakfast or something, but I would starve myself until that event, especially when there was gonna be a lot of food. So if it was a birthday party or whatever, I would just like not eat, and I would show up at the birthday party starving. And if the food wasn't done, that's all I would be able to think about. It's the food. Like, when is the food gonna be done? I'm so hungry because I starved, because I wanted to save all my calories so that I could eat freely when I was at the party. So let me tell you, during the holidays, there was a lot of food. There was tons of food, in fact. But I would show up places because I would be eating normally. If I was hungry, I wouldn't wait till I got to this event. I would literally just eat whenever. If I was out, I would grab something. If I was home, I would make something. I would always have snacks. So when I would get to events, I would literally forget that there was even being like food even being served until somebody would shout, "Oh, the food is ready." And I'm like, "Oh, food is being served? Oh, cool." Like, yeah. And then if I wasn't hungry, I wouldn't feel like pressed to eat. I would make a plate, or I just wouldn't eat, and I would feel good. Like, I still would, my mind would be on like socializing and, you know, other things. Like, it just would not be on food. Food was not the forefront of my mind. And that was like the biggest pro of this whole journey, because just to get there and feel like food is like an afterthought. It's not even like important. Like, things that I used to love to eat now feel like normal because I eat them so much. And I'm not gonna lie, I binged for months on candy and junk food and things that I would never eat. Tons of cereal, tons of muffins. I love muffins, I love bread, I love baked goods. And so I ate those, you know, much as I would want to eat them. And now when I go to the grocery store, the bakery section is like, it's whatever. Like, if I want something, I grab it. If I don't, there are many times when I just walk right by the bakery section and it's not even on my brain. It's not even in my mind, because my body is normal. Again, when it comes to those type of things, those don't feel like rewards. Those are just regular everyday food items now. This is what food freedom does. So yes, the overshoot weight is a negative, but all of the things that I'm gaining are so much more like important and so much more, they outweigh all of the negatives. But I do know how it feels to be going through the overshoot weight, putting on overshoot weight, how scary it can be, how your mind can tell you that this is how you will be forever and you're just gonna get bigger, and you think everybody's talking about you behind your back because that's how I feel sometimes. But the truth is, it doesn't matter what other people think. That's number one. If you have an eating disorder, or you have eating disorder behaviors, disordered eating behaviors, then don't think just because you're not 90 pounds that you don't need help or that you don't need to be in eating disorder recovery. I highly recommend people to check out eating disorder recovery resources that are out there and read the information that is out there. Because I did not think I had an eating disorder, because eating disorders are normalized in our society and in our culture. So I just really recommend people do the research. Don't think about the stigma. Don't think about, oh, well, I'm not stick skinny, I'm not 90 pounds. That is like the most extreme spectrum of eating disorder behavior. Most people are not going to get to this point, you know, of eating disorder behavior, because that is when everybody starts to be like scared of, or, you know, people get concerned because you look like you're like knocking on death's door, you know what I mean? So at that point, it's so intense that people notice. And so most people never get there because they don't want people to notice their eating disorder behaviors. They want it to stay in that normal spectrum of what we culturally see as normal. And so you can be dealing with an eating disorder and not even honestly know it, because I didn't. And so as I started going through this process and I started learning about what the symptoms were in chronic dieting and yo-yo dieting and eating disordered thoughts and food rules and hyper focus on food, that's when I said, man, those are the things I would experience. And then I started realizing how disordered my eating really truly was when I started to reflect on the things that the measures in which I would go to lose weight. I just really made this video to encourage people, to let people know, like, I've been there. I'm going through it right now, actually, as we speak. I have put on upwards of like 35 to 40 pounds of overshoot weight. And I don't have good days every day. I have days where it gets really scary. I have days where I'm not sure what's gonna happen in the future. And I have days where, you know, I have to remind myself why I'm doing this and why I advocate for this and why eating disorder recovery is so important. Because if I had a friend going through this same thing, I would want her to experience freedom. I would want her to not deal with eating disordered behavior. I would care enough about my friend that it doesn't matter what she looks like on the exterior, you know what I mean? So the exterior is not what's important. The body has no consciousness of what's going on, like far as like how we look aesthetically. The body does not drive itself based on a physical appearance. The body drives itself on keeping us at our best and performing at its best, and it is very intelligent and good at doing its job. So we don't need to hijack our bodies to be a certain size. So I just made this to encourage anybody who's currently on this journey. Don't stop, don't give up, stay with it. I'm right here with you. I've gained overshoot weight. Every day is not a good day, but there are some amazing benefits and there are some amazing like signs that are showing me, and I'm sure you're experiencing them if you have started the journey. If you haven't, there's so many benefits to this, and there's so many signs that are gonna let you know you're doing exactly what you should be doing and you're on the right track. Okay, so anyway, catch you on the next video. If you haven't watched my previous video, me introducing the food freedom journey, please watch that video as well. And I'll see you next time.